Hi, my name is Abby Maria.
Hi, my name is Saul.
Hi, my name is Wendell Holland.
My name is Brandon Donlin.
Hey everybody, this is Mike Gabler, the Alligabler, coming to you live on Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
To me, he's Jimmy. To you, he's Mr. Beast. And welcome to Survivor Squared, where we break down the latest episode of Survivor Season 50. My name is Tony Squares. I'm joined by Bailey Buffs, my ride or die, my #1 Alliance member. And we're breaking down the Mr. Beast 2-hour extravaganza that happened on CBS during Survivor Season 50. A lot went down, especially in that second hour, and me and Bailey are going to dive through it step by step. But Bailey, we saw this in a very unique experience. We went down to Los Feliz, saw it at High Tops Bar with a whole crowd. It was a really fun atmosphere. But out of all the things that we thought would happen with this Mr. Beast episode, I have to say this was the best possible scenario, right?
1,000%. I loved this twist. I mean, you know more than anybody, I've been sitting here going, ugh, Mr. Beast, I don't want the Mr. Beast episode. I'm stressing about the Mr. Beast. I don't trust a single thing about that briefcase and the promos. And then it came on and I was like, oh, wait, I actually love this. I actually love this, and I loved the chaos that it brought. If there's one word to describe this episode, it was chaotic. Yeah,
it started off with the auction, the comfort in the chaos, and led to a very chaotic final and live of Tribal Council. Let's break it down step by step, though, because again, after the Jimmy Fallon experiment, we were probably the most negative we've been about Survivor as a whole on this channel. And that's not a place where we like to live. Like, not to say we try to look with rose-covered glasses at this thing, but I understand how television works, and I understand they constantly try things. But to me, we treat Survivor like it's a sport. And the Jimmy Fallon thing, to me, kind of altered the sport a little bit too much for my liking. This Mr. Beast experiment, we're going to break it down step by step, but to me, it could have gone that way. I was thinking about all the wrong things that could possibly happen with this Mr. Beast thing, having no idea what it was going to be. And the way it played out was fantastic. It was an extremely entertaining last hour of television. I purposefully say last hour because the first hour was a whole lot of nothing. But we had an auction, we had letters from home, we had a lot more time with these people, a lot more emotions with these people. And you called it right from the get-go, Bailey. You thought that the Mr. Beast section, it looked like there was an auction. So we might be getting a Survivor auction, and oh boy, did we. We got calls to past Survivor auctions. We had 72 items thrown out there. Sari came away with a blanket. She came away with toothpaste. She came away with a charcuterie board. She left, got sick, came back. How did you feel as a person who loves the auction, the person who wanted the auction back for Survivor Season 50, as we talked about in a previous episode? How did you feel about this auction section?
I, hands down, think this maybe was my favorite Survivor auction of all time. I think so much happened, and I'm very curious as if to producers or Jeff maybe said to them in advance, there's no advantages. So don't save your money for the advantage or the idol, because they all were spending money. So I don't know if that's because they knew there was no disadvantage or idol or gameplay type thing, or if they were really just that hungry that they collectively were like, screw it, we're going for the food. Because we've talked about this in years past. I think that's what has gotten wrong about the auction. That's like the way that it has failed in past seasons, is because everyone just sits there saving up their money for the giant idol, the giant reward. I was fearful of that with the Mr. Beast briefcase. I thought that maybe they would all just be waiting. And instead it was just like grilled cheese, charcuterie, crudité, like onion rings, every single thing. And so I just thought it was so fun. It was so exciting. And even the way they edited it, I mean, how does your adrenaline not start pumping? It was bam, 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 bam. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just loved it. I just thought it was really exciting. And I also thought it was really lovely that everyone got the letters of home just from $20. It wasn't one person choose some other people. Like, everyone got it. So it was my favorite auction. It was heartwarming. Things happened. I just genuinely enjoyed the hell out of it.
I think they all deserved to get the letters from home, much like Winners at War. When that season happened, everybody's families showed up. Didn't matter if you were voted off or on the game still. I loved that part because I want the cutthroatedness to come back in Survivor a little bit. I want someone to win Letters from Home, but actually say, like we're like Mike Holloway in season 30, how he saved his money and then was like reprimanded by the crowd. Go back and pay that money so we could all get it. We all agreed. I want that version of Survivor to come back. However, in a returnee season such as this, these players deserve to get the Letters from Home. These players have played their first season already or multiple seasons already. They've been through the muck. Give them a little bit of gold at the end of the rainbow here, and that they deserve that Letters from Home section. I was very happy with that. I was also kind of happy with the comfort and chaos. It was a weird way it was explained to us, but I liked the idea of like Aubrey and Rizzo going up and Aubrey going, yeah, I'm going to eat these bugs in order to get these cookies. Jonathan really struggling with that sea cucumber, that sea slug, in order for Ozzy to eat the fried chicken. Ooh. Some of it was weird, didn't make a lot of sense, but it made for entertaining television. And I was kind of amazed that we stayed on the auction as long as we did. There was so much stuff that went out there. Some stuff I was surprised that they put out there because Emily said it. Emily said it to camera. I was actually surprised they let it be on CBS. Like, they haven't eaten for 20 some odd days, and she's going to have a full chocolate milkshake on an empty stomach. That would destroy my stomach. I can't imagine what it does to Emily. And then right afterwards, they have to go to an immunity challenge. Cerie's getting sick in the bushes. Jonathan's getting sick after the cucumber. I can't imagine the feeling that you would have because that adrenaline starts pumping on a now full stomach of all these weird foods. Bailey, if you were at the Survivor auction, what item would you easily throw all your money at? Not Letters from Home, not an advantage. What food item would you be like, I need to have that?
Like taquitos and like chips and salsa or something like that. Like, give me some Mexican food. Give me a fat burrito with some guac on there. And I think I would just be like, I'm done for. I'm done for. I mean, I don't know. I'm such a hangry biatch when I don't eat that I just think anything would have come up. I would have been happy at that point. But I mean, they are very, very lucky, I will say. Obviously, going into the auction, they didn't know they were going to be going directly into an immunity challenge right after. Thankfully, they didn't have to run around a lot.
Yeah, I think that was
planned. Because if they had an immunity challenge where they were going through an obstacle course, I think we would have seen a lot more not for TV things happen. Yeah. So I'm very grateful for that, at least. Tony, what would your last meal, quote unquote, be on Survivor? What would be your big thing?
I'd be really hesitant. I really would. I've thought about this quite a bit. I'd be really hesitant to spend my money. First off, I'd want to see if there was an advantage. But secondly, I'd be starving, of course, and any food's going to be good food. But anything like a candy, a sugary item, a dairy item, even a heavy fried food item like that fried chicken, you're going to get destroyed that whole entire evening. So I would want something. I believe Jonathan got it. I believe Tiffany said, I ain't paying no money for carrots. Like, I would have gotten that veggie plate because that at least would have been light enough to sustain me, but also not make me feel like crap afterwards. I also would not pay anything for the comfort. I mean, again, I'm not laying on the island, so I don't know how much I need a blanket or to brush my teeth, but I doubt that's what I'd be spending my money on. But you also don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to return. Would the chocolate chip cookies be the last thing you could bid on? You don't know, and that is the beauty of the auction. I think it's something that Survivor needs to continue bringing back because everyone knows it, everyone roots for it, and when it happens, like Rizzo even said, like, I get to be a part of an auction. Like, this is Joe's second auction on 2 seasons. Like, it's a fun thing to be a part of. Moving forward, me and Bailey, as we were watching this, during the commercial breaks, we were kind of looking at each other and looking at our phones because we didn't know this was a 2-hour episode until we were halfway through the episode because we got to an hour in and we haven't even made it to tribal yet. Or not even to tribal. We hadn't even made it past the challenge where people started strategizing. We had a full hour of really just feel-good moments, like read the Letters from Home, and they gave everyone their due diligence with that, talking about that. Obviously, Tiffany had a huge victory at the immunity challenge, and we had the bulky section of the auction for the first half hour of the show. But we really didn't have any strategy until that second hour of television. And I was looking at you, and you were looking at me. We were trying to figure out how this is going to happen. Were you take the second hour aside, were you in any way disappointed that we didn't get more strategy in that first hour, or were you happy with the sort of slow roll into this whole entire thing?
Listen, I'm hesitant to almost say because I really thought this episode was fantastic from start to finish. I thought we got so much good stuff. I thought we got a lot of great gameplay, a lot of moments aside, like you said, real emotions with these people. But it was odd pacing because the whole first hour was really nothing, and then the whole second hour was everything. So could that have been maybe equally paced out a little bit more between the first and second half? Maybe, but also I'm not an editor. I don't know how to set pacing. Maybe this is exactly what they wanted to do. And I think the panic initially of being like, why isn't anything happening, was when I thought it was a 90-minute episode. Once I found out it was 2 hours, then I was a little bit more forgiving and a little bit more like, oh, okay, well, there's still time to get everything in. But when it felt like we had to pack everything in 30 minutes, I definitely was looking around going like, is anyone else kind of confused as to what is going on? How are we going to jam pack all of this in? And I don't think any of us knew it was 2 hours. Even the people running the watch party admitted they didn't know it was 2 hours. So I think it was a little bit of a surprise for everybody.
I will say, as much as I enjoyed the slice of life that we got from those first hours, you get to see the actual human element of this show through Aubrey's eyes, through Joe's eyes, through Steph's eyes, through Sharif, her father writing her a letter and her going through that. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moments. However, the best part of this episode was from 9 p.m. to 9:15 p.m., where we just had 15 minutes of them going back and forth over and over again on where the vote is going to land after Tiffany wins that immunity. Do we worry about the MrBeast item? Should we split vote? Should we do all this stuff? And we were sitting there like it was a sporting event at this watch party, and as it was going, we're trying to vote out Ozzy, and then Stephanie comes over to Sari and says, hey, here's the situation, and Sari's just like, oh, that's the situation, and now we're turning it on Stephanie. And then Ozzy talks to Jonathan, and Jonathan realizes what's happening, and now they're going to turn it on Sari. There were oohs and ahs from the crowd, and it was beautifully built. And it was beautifully set up, and the way the journey it took us on as the viewer was fantastic theater. And then they rapid fire it at the end, where I think every name gets mentioned. Okay, so now we're putting votes on Aubrey. No, we're back to Devins. How about we go on Rizzo? All of these different names start getting thrown out there, many of whom we don't know where they came from. Who said Aubrey? Why are they voting Aubrey out now? And that was the point. They were trying to surprise us as the viewers, like, now they're talking about this, now they're talking about this. And that extends to tribal council, where Sari sits there and says the plan changed every 30 seconds. We had no idea where it was going. My only critique of this whole episode is that 15-minute section I would have watched for an hour. I would have loved to see how we went from name to name to name to name and really walk us through the whole thing. I understand the reason they showed it the way they did was to show how crazy it was, how hectic it was. That's the editing power that they have, is to sort of showcase the insanity of this 15 minutes and how much of a rush it was. However, me, the person who wants the gaming, the person who wants to look at this like a sport, I would have been a fly on the wall for the entire thing. And it reminds me of, I'm an F1 fan. When you watch the races, you can watch the natural feed where they, you have the announcers talking about the whole thing and you see them going around the track. But if you're a nerd, you can sign up for the extra package, and they have little cameras inside every car, and you can just watch every car run their whole race. So you don't really see everything else that's going on. You're just watching your dude race around the track. And it gets kind of monotonous and boring, but it is really cool if you're a super fan. I would have killed for just a Sari cam and just a Jonathan cam. Just like, give me that feed of them for that entire time. No holds barred. Give me a Rizzo cam and show me where a Rick Devens cam. I would have taken all that. I would have paid any money CBS would let me pay to get that footage, because I was so intrigued by how we got to each of these sections. These 10 people, Aubrey says it at the beginning, this is where the big moves need to happen, because we're nearing the end, and now, as we know later, we've doubled the prize money. These moves need to happen now. And I thought we were a little bit, I don't know. I think I wanted more on my plate of seeing the moves play out. Did you get any of that?
Oh, yeah. I had the thought, I actually said this to my girlfriend last night. I was like, as much as I don't like Big Brother necessarily, give me a 24/7 live stream. Like, give me a 24/7 live stream on that camp, because there's, as we continuously see in all of these like unreleased footage videos that they put out on the CBS socials, it's like we are missing so much of the inner workings of these camps. And I understand you can't include everything. I get that. They're being recorded 24/7. I get it. But we are missing a lot. And I do agree that's like my one critique of this whole season was like, give me a little less of Zach Brown, give me a little bit less of the comfort, auction, just a little bit. I like that it's still there, but I want more of just the tribe talking. I want more of the inner workings of the strategy and their relationships and their alliances. And I think that's a great way to put it. I would love, I would love if each of them had their own pair of meta glasses on, and we could just see everything through their eyes. I think that would be, especially Suri. I just want to see everything through Suri's eyes, honestly, though.
Want to practice puzzles before going on Survivor? Don't worry, Survivor Squared has got you. Happy to say we are partnering with Puzzling Design, who creates custom puzzles inspired by competition reality shows, including Survivor. They make replicas, remix, fully original puzzle designs, and their work combines over a decade of engineering expertise with 3D printing, woodworking, and vinyl graphics to turn your specific vision into a memorable competitive experience. And here at Survivor Squared, we are giving away our very own Survivor Squared themed slide puzzle. The way you can enter is do two things. Number one, comment on the episode you are watching right now, whether it's on Spotify or YouTube, wherever you are, leave a comment and try to write something more than just hello. Make it engaging, have a conversation. And number two, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Even if you're listening to this podcast on an audio-only platform, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's how I'm going to pick who the winner is. And we will be drawing the winner on our Season 50 finale podcast. That's when we will break down who wins this show, who wins this Survivor slide puzzle, and send it directly to you. But excited to do our first giveaway on the Survivor Squared podcast. Leave us a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you could be getting your very own slide puzzle. But now, back to the show. We're jumping forward to Tribal Council because so much went on. We had about 40 minutes in Tribal Council. Thanks a lot to the MrBeast section of this show. MrBeast comes out. The Beware advantage is someone must flip a coin and choose heads or tails. If they are right, the prize money doubles from $1 million to $2 million. They are immune for that night's Tribal Council, and they also get in front of everybody, an immunity idol. If they choose wrong, they're going home. It's the end of their game. There's nothing that can save them. There is no vote. They just get to go home. A 50-50 die, which you brought up during our top worst 10 twists in Survivor history. The 50-50 flip of the coin was your least favorite twist, I think, ever. So you, as a fan, when you saw this coin come out, before we get to what happened with it, what were you thinking?
Tony, I don't know if you heard me, but he pulled out that coin and I audibly went, oh no. Oh no. I think I looked at you, or I hit you too, because I was like, I talked about this. And for immediate panic set in, the immediate panic. I just was like, oh no, what is happening? But now in hindsight, after seeing the whole thing play out, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant television. And I only think it worked because of Rick Devens. Had someone else like begrudgingly had to go up there, or they had to vote, figure it out, like, because they're not going to go to rocks over that and leave it completely up for luck. But I thought it was a really, really smart move though too by Rick Devens to know that a 50-50 chance is better than a 1 in 6 chance. Instead of doing my shot in the dark, I don't have an idol, I don't have a shield, I don't have anything, and it's probably me going tonight. Let's try it. Let's risk it. And the only problem with that, though, is now Devens is the biggest target, hands down, bar none. Because if that man gets to Tribal Council, he can look every one of them in the eyes and say, I personally gave you the chance to win $2 million, and now you're not going to give it to me. I think Rick Devens is the only person on that island that could beat Suri in Final Tribal now because of that episode.
I agree. It puts Rick in definitely bigger. Somehow he has a bigger target than he had entering this episode, and I perfectly agree. He also is armed with an idol, which with Rick Devens and an idol, that is great news. Rizzo and Ozzy still have their idols. Everyone held on to their advantages except for poor Stephanie, and I understand you said it was brilliant. The coin flip thing was brilliant. I have to disagree wholeheartedly. I think it was excellent television, And I think the way it was performed,
Yes.
and yes, Rick Devens sold the F out of that, him saying, I have to do this not only because I'm on the bottom, but because my kids love Mr. Beast and they're going to think I'm cool doing this. It's awesome. It's awesome to see Rick Devens have this moment. The crowd that we were with was cheering like they just scored the winning goal of the World Cup. And this kid is flipping the coin, it rolls around like it couldn't have been more dramatic. It was so cool. However, again, this is the whole spiel that I had last week. It's the Jurassic Park line. You spend so much time thinking how you could do it, you never stop to think, should I do this? If it came down to, just like imagine the other alternate universe here where no one agrees to go up and it comes down to a rock draw and Cerie pulls the rock and she flips a coin and she goes home due to this Mr. Beast BS coin flip. Everyone would be pissed off. And that, to me, is the crux of this whole entire, all of these new things in there is like, what's the worst possible scenario? And does it undeniably trump the best possible scenario? Because we got the best version of this Mr. Beast coin thing. There could not have been a better way this could play out than the way it played out. Again, I'm just sitting here going, I don't think they do a good enough job thinking of all of the possibilities. But again, that's a complaint that is, you know, I'm trying to look for complaints if I go down that road. This was an excellent moment on television. This was an excellent moment for Survivor. I never want to see it again. Thank you, Mr. Beast, for being there. But Rick Devens, again, as you said, has the biggest target on his back. Do you think if you were a Jonathan, a Stephanie, a Joe, someone who's on the opposite side of Rick Devens here that wants Rick Devens to go home or potentially is in danger if Rick Devens can't go home, do you think when you're playing that, would you have tried to stop Rick Devens from doing this? Because I had Stephen Ram from season 49 on our show, and we interviewed him about how he went on his epic journey where he raced around the island and the drones are following him over the rocks. And I asked him to explain what was going through his head, and the first thing he said was, I can't believe they let me do it because I was on the bottom of that tribe, and the worst thing I could do was get an advantage, and that's what happened. And the same thing with Rick. He's on the bottom. He's going home. The worst thing you want is Rick to get power in this game, and now he has undeniably all the power. So if you were sitting there, Jonathan, Joe, Steph, would you have been a little bit more active in trying to get Rick to not do that? Would you have taken the chance yourself in order for Rick not to get the chance?
I don't think I would have, because again, that was too much of a risk. It was far too much of a risk. So if you object to someone basically volunteering to do that, in my mind, I'm like, you can't complain unless you offer a solution, right? So if you complain about him doing that, the solution offered would be you going. And I don't think that that's a smart decision. I would not have put my game on the line like that. Like, I don't want to risk that. I don't want to put myself there. Yes, if the outcome works like we see that it did, incredible. But also, I don't want that target on my back. So in my brain, I think, yeah, Rick's on the bottom. Okay, yeah, he has an idol. There's a lot of idols at play. But there's still time to flesh it out and figure it out because I don't know. He's been on the bottom. He's had a huge target this whole time. Now he has an even bigger target. I mean, his resume is arguably the most impressive of anyone's right now of the way that he has strategically and socially played this game. I think I would have let him do it because either he goes home in the moment and we're all safe, or he just puts a giant target on his back, but ups the prize money for me. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to do anything and I win either way. Go for it. I'll figure out the idol later.
Unless you're Stephanie. Like, that's the other thing, unless you're Stephanie, because you have to have the hindsight to know that, hey, Rick is on the bottom. If he's no longer safe, who's on the bottom? If he's no longer unsafe, who's on the bottom? And Rick, at the beginning of this tribal council, comes right out and says, hey, this is what happened. Jonathan and Stephanie told me to vote Ozzy, and then this happened, and then that happened, and then this happened. And Stephanie stumbles all over herself trying to defend herself to the point where she's just saying things that are coming out of her mouth, and everyone is looking at each other like, wait, what did she just say? The worst thing she said was her saying, I would never throw a name out there. You have thrown names out. Not only is it Survivor and everyone throws names out, but you have easily thrown names out to people that are still sitting there that are not on your side. Like, it's not just like my Pete, Jonathan will be on my side, Joe will be on, they'll never rat me out. You've thrown names out to Cerie, to Ozzy, to Rizzo. They've heard you discuss this. So of course they're going to be like, that's a lie. And good on Rizzo for standing up and saying, listen, if this is what's going to happen, man up and say, yeah, I did it. Rick said he threw my name out there. Good for Rick. That makes me proud of Rick. He's playing the game of Survivor. Don't sit there and say, I would never throw a name out, because we all know that's a blatant lie. And good on Rizzo again, the youngest person in this tribe having the best head on his shoulders about this game, Bailey.
Well, I have a theory about Rizzo now too. Honestly, I love the kid. I think he's brilliant. You cannot convince me that Rizzo is even trying to win this game anymore. You can't convince me. Rizzo is just there for a good time and a fanboy and to play with his idols and to do an auction for the first time. Like, I feel like Rizzo is not even playing the game anymore. He's just wants to be there for as long as he can be there for the stories. And so I love him. I think the way that he's so emotionally intelligent too, and just like socially intelligent, it's truly, I don't know, it gives me hope for the future generations, because I'm just like, this kid's awesome at 25. He's so wise, and I mean, so unintimidated by his peers, by people he's looked up to, his heroes that are 30 years older than him, and he comes up with the confidence of like a very esteemed gentleman. Like, he's just... Yeah, Rizzo's truly the best. I think he stands no chance to win, but I absolutely love him, and I think we will see him on many future seasons. Rizzo is going to play until they won't let him play anymore.
Let's push that forward, because I do want to do some rankings and some predictions here, because now we are down to 9 people, Bailey. We only have 3 episodes left, and one of those episodes is obviously the finale. Usually finales have 5 people remaining. Maybe Survivor stretches it and we have a 6-person finale, but that still means we only have 2 episodes to get rid of 3 people, maybe 4 people. So we're going to have double elimination somewhere along the line, maybe even next week, right? So I want to power rank these 9 remaining players into who you think is going to win this thing. Who is the 9th place player power ranking wise?
9th place, I'm going to put Emily Flippin.
Yeah, me too. She's still going to be there. She might make the final, but nobody's given her a victory. But I put her in. We're talking about not who's going to get eliminated next, but who's going to win. 9th place is Emily Flippin.
I was just about to say that. I was like, I'm putting this in power ranking order of how I want it, how I think they have played. It's not actually what I think maybe will happen, but it's what I want.
No, this is like who's going to win. 8th place is Tiffany. I thought she had a wonderful victory with the immunity idol and saved her game. I think she's going home if she does not win that immunity idol. I don't think anyone is really on her side. And again, we haven't seen her at all, so maybe I'm wrong with how the strategy is playing out. I just don't think Tiffany has played enough of a game for me to see her as a victory. So who's 7th place?
Aubrey or Joe, actually. You know what? I'm going to take that back. I'd put Joe instead of Aubrey. Yeah, that's what I think. I think Joe, because he's really done nothing this whole season.
In 6th place, then I will put Rizzo, even though I think he's played a social game. I agree with you that he is very much there for the vibes, and we need to see him make some moves. Like Sari and Ozzy are sort of directing things in their little threesome here. If he plays that idol professionally and plays it well and takes one of the big boys out, then I'll change my mind. But I got Rizzo 6. Who's 5th, Bailey?
5th, I think, is going to be Devins. I just don't think there's any way he's going to make it to tribal. I mean, to final tribal.
I can't believe you're.
I don't see how.
I can't believe you're putting Devins. Who deserves to win more? I can't believe you're putting Devins behind Aubrey.
Oh, deserves it?
Yeah.
He's up there. Okay, I'm sorry. If we're going back, then I put Jonathan. Then I'd put Jonathan next.
That's even worse. That's even wrong. What? Jonathan, to me, is playing the best game outside of Sari. And it is on the opposite side of what happened last night. Like, obviously, he was on the bottom of the vote last night. But again, he has directed so many votes and directed so many waves of people that he made this power alliance that has been taken out now with Coach, Chrissy, and Stephanie going home. The reason why they were attacked the way they were was because Jonathan had them all under his wing together. And he is still... the fact that they're not targeting Jonathan, the immunity challenge beast at this point in the game, showcases to me that this guy is playing an unbelievable game. And maybe we're getting spoiled by the edit here, and he's telling me too much of his game, because I can see everything he's doing in the cutthroat ways where he's openly lying to people purposefully to try and get them to think other things. Like, he is directing so many things. I can't believe you're putting him 5th or 4th or wherever he is. So who's Sari's number 1, and maybe Ozzy's behind her at number 2?
Yeah, I think Devins is honestly killing it. And I don't know what it was about this episode. Devins just grew on me so much. Just something about his attitude, his personality, his relationship with his son, his conversations with Aubrey and Emily. I've just really grown to fall in love with Rick Devins through this season, honestly. And so I do think, in my mind, I hear what you're saying about Jonathan. I do do think he is epically improved from his last season. But of this 5 that we have left here, I personally think Suri and Devins have done the most and played the most impressive game. I'd say Jonathan is probably 3rd above Ozzy and Aubrey. Yeah, I'd put Devins up there with Suri now. He's really impressed me this season. He really has.
So let me ask you a different ranking, because we are hopefully, knock on wood, done with the celebrity cameos. We now have 3 immunity idols in play. I don't think we're going to have any more immunity idols unless they all get flushed out and they hide another one on the island. So I don't think there's any other celebrity twists coming. Hopefully, again, knock on all of the wood. So let me ask you, Bales, the Zach Brown reward with the spearfishing segment, the Billie Eilish boomerang idol that did not boomerang, and nor has it really idled. The Jimmy Fallon twist where, you either get the extra vote in the urn or you get to read in front of everybody that you don't have a vote. Oh, no, that you're voting for yourself. Excuse me. How could I forget poor Christian? And 4th place, the MrBeast flip a coin advantage with double the money, the immunity idol, or you go home. Out of all of these celebrity cameos, Zach Brown, Billie Eilish, Jimmy Fallon, and MrBeast, would you rank them 1 through 4 and how much you enjoyed them in season 50?
Easy. MrBeast, Billie Eilish, Boomerang Idol, Zach Brown, Jimmy Fallon. In that order, hands down, you cannot convince me otherwise.
I will forever think that the Zach Brown spearfishing segment was the worst moment of this season, arguably the worst moment of Survivor, and I'm putting it at the basement. I'm putting Zach Brown 4th. Otherwise, I agree with your rankings. There's MrBeast, a large gap, and then Billie Eilish, Jimmy Fallon, and then Zach Brown at the end. Bailey, one more thing before we leave. We'll be back on Monday with a guest. We'll be back next Thursday to break it down. We're in May. It is now the month of May, and we have so many Survivor tales to tell before it's over, but we're at the end, Bailey. This is it. Only 3 more episodes of this season. It's been a fantastic ride. Who gets eliminated next? Who comes in 9th place, Bales?
This is wishful thinking, and it's who I said already, but I'm just going to go Emily Flippin because I'm really ready for her to just be gone. I don't know. Every time she says something of like, oh, I knew the idol was fake, or, oh yeah, I don't know how they let us play this game together. We're unhinged. I'm like, what have you done that's unhinged? What have you, I mean, I guess she runs her mouth, but it's just like, I don't know. I'm just over it. I think it's time for Emily to go.
I am excited to see how it all plays out because I think some of these idols need to get played. Some of these players know that they can't last till the final 5 because that's a free ride to the end. And so I think especially someone like an Aussie, they're going to be targets on their back with these idols out there, and they need to be smart enough to play them. Ozzy has said multiple times during this edit, that he's not going to go home with an idol in his pocket again, which makes me think he goes home with an idol in his pocket again.
He's going home with...
And so I think Ozzy's...
It's foreshadowing.
I think Ozzy's the next person to go home, sadly, who's played a great game. He's played an excellent game. But that is it for this episode of Survivor Squared, for the Beast Games episode of Survivor Squared. Thank you, MrBeast, for showing up on the island. I'll take your word for it that you were a super fan of the show and this wasn't just a business opportunity, but hey, maybe that's me looking negatively at everything around me, the pessimist in me. But for Bailey Buffs, for Tony Squares, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you love the show, and we shall be back very soon.